Alright, once you get all your material laid out evenly, as close as you can, a lot of times, as with anything else, whenever you get your material from two different places, of course it's not going to cut exactly straight or the same. So once you get everything lined up, laid out flat as much as you can on your floor, start cutting it evenly right through here. If you look real close, you can see the stitching through here. Just follow that stitching, you'll stay pretty much in a good, nice, close, straight line. So I'll catch up with the video in just a moment. Okay, once you get all the edge of the fabrics all trimmed up, as you see, I mean, it ain't the best cut in the world, but hey, it's a blanket. It's not like it's going to be precision cut like on a machine shop or anything. As you come along that edge right here, if you look right here, I have already marked, this is 2 inches here, 2 inches here. Now what you want to do off of each corner, cut a 2-inch square off of each corner. Okay, as you see here, I cut that 2-inch square off like I mentioned a moment ago. Let me show you how I started doing that. First thing I did was take my tape measure. I laid it across like this right here. As you see the 2 inches right there, I took on this end right here, I just barely nicked it at 2 inches. Then I laid the tape measure across like this at that 2-inch mark, barely nicked the fabric. Then I took my shears, cut this way till it intersected, cut this way till it intersected. Each of the 4 corners needs to be done like that. Okay, here's the next step I did. This extra piece of white material I have here, what I did was I cut it to exactly 1.5 inches. I laid my tape measure out, spacing it with this right here to be sure that it was evenly spaced throughout the whole length of the material going down the side. So what this is going to do for me is, of course, it's going to tell me where to stop my scissors as I cut. Also, every 1 inch you want to make a cut to the tape. Now, there's different ways you can do this. You could stretch out a tape measure like I got from my shop here as a guide as to space every 1 inch, or also to cut up to the tape measure so you know where to stop at. The other method, you could use like painter's tape, lay onto it. The blue painter's tape, the glue is very light, so if you was to lay it on the material here, and once you get through cutting up to the painter's tape, you could all just peel the painter's tape right off. You would not leave any type of residue or anything like that. I did that for the whole length of the material, and I'm going to do this for each of the 4 sides. So I'm not going to bore you with watching me cut 1 inch at a time all the way around this material. So when I get through making all these cuts, I will come back and show you the next step. Thank you. Okay, after you've gone all the way around and made those 1 inch wide cuts, that's 1.5 inches deep, all the way around the blanket, then what you want to do is you want to put a little slit inside each one of those. Now, if you're starting to think this is going to be time consuming, yeah, get ready. This is a very long process, but it actually becomes worth it, because the other style where you've seen the little tassels that get tied together, then every time you wash it they come untied, or even if they get thrown around the bed or the couch or wherever you put it at, they end up coming untied. This does not do that, because these are getting braided. So what you're going to have to do is take that tassel, you're going to fold it back like that. Then you're going to take your shears and just put a little cut in it like that right there. Now I would not gotta show you, but I kind of gotta hold the camera with one hand while I show you with the other. Basically, you take it, grab it, fold it back in half, then just cut it. Put a little snip in it. Be sure that you got plenty of meat out here for it to be able to braid, and there's plenty of strength for it to not come apart or anything. Because once this is done all the way around, then you begin the braiding process. the braiding process ties it all together, and there is no way for it to come untied or anything like that. So it will be a much better process than the one that's so commonly where each individual strand is tied together as you go around. So I'm going to start this process, get all these slits cut, then I'm going to come back and show you how to braid it. Okay everyone, here is the braiding process, and I've already come around quite a bit of the blanket here. As you see, there's a slit I mentioned in the last video. Just, like I said, you just want to make sure you leave plenty of material here to hold each braid. As you see, like what's going on here. What the process I'm doing, the bottom side of this blanket is white, and the back side, as you see here, is red. It's forming on the back side here, it's forming a neat little artistic fringe or braid, as you see here. On the front side, what it's forming is the white you see here, but it's also forming a little red border. It's forming a little red border all the way around the blanket. So this is going to be from my girlfriend. She doesn't know it quite yet, but this right here is a little red heart. Let me back the camera up here a bit so I can show it a little better. Here's a little red heart that's going to be here, but it's also been bordered by the back side material here, which forms a little border around the blanket here. The process of that is like this, to make sure you keep that consistent. As you go through the braid, I'm using just a simple big wire tie that I found off some computer cords and such, but you can use different types of things like knitting needles or whatever. What it all boils down to, if you was to use like this loop right here, send it through. Look, send it through the white side first, which is going to be the front side of the blanket. Feed it through, put that through, and just pull, and it forms that edging. And you do this again, stick that through here, put your material through here again, and it's just continuously over and over and over like that. Pretty simple process. And once you get the system down, this part here actually goes pretty quickly, and you're forming that little red border here, and you see the little braid, the little red border on this side right here, which is going to match what's on the front side, the little hearts and such. She's really into the hearts thing, so oh well. So anyway, I'll come back in a bit and show you how to tie it off. Thank you. Alright everyone, here's your last step. Here's where I was braiding everything through. You see, as I tucked it through this right here, you pull it over top, get that pattern laying down just right. As you pull it through, you just kind of do a little tug, and this part's like it just flatten right out. Looks good. Alright, here's your last step. We're going to tie it off. Here is the last tassel, and I've already done it. As you see, I took the shears, you simply split it down the length of where it's at, here and here. So I've already did that. Here, take my loop, stick it through here, just 1/2 of the tassels, pull them through. Pull it like that, pull them over tight. Alright, now here's the red fabric. Red, tie it off. Let me change the camera position a little bit so you can see a little better. See right here. There. And pull that tight. Here's that one. Now we're going to do the white layer, or white and red, whatever. Pull that tight. One more time. And what I have here, you can see where I tied them off in the last little edit there. Now you got options here. You can leave it as is, and odds are this material isn't going to really come untied very easily. But if you really want to, you could also take and bring you a needle and a thread and stitch them together. Just put a couple of, moving the camera, put a couple of stitches in to hold it in place, and it will not come untied. I'll show you full size here in just a moment. Okay, everyone, here it is. As you notice in the other parts of the videos and such, I told you about how it forms a little border around it. Because the pattern is the way I was braiding the edges. And again, you see how it matches in with the layers. The edging matches in with the layers, and you see on the back side how it folded over. Again, kind of even complements the back side. Just back up, get a little bit more wider shot here. Today's your birthday. I've been working on this for a little bit off and on for a couple weeks now. But total time, actually, I've got about, let's see, here's the final knots. After all the braiding, you tie it off right here, as shown in that last section of the video. Sorry, I had to reposition it. And like I said, right here on these last knots, you got a couple of options. You can just leave it as is. And the nature of this fabric, whenever you're really tight, getting tight right here, it's very hard to tear it. It forms a knot that's hot, tight enough that it should hold in place. Shouldn't be no big deal with that. Also, you got the option of, before you make the double hitch knot, before you make that second knot, put your little dab of hot milk glue or something like that, then pull it tight. That'll keep from coming apart. Or if you even like, you can take some matching thread or whatever and run your stitch through the knot, and therefore it doesn't come undone. But odds are, honestly, it's not going anywhere. But you've got options in case you want to do a final secure. And as for the braiding, just the nature of the braiding, it cannot come undone because it's all looped and tied within itself. And another thing too, versus the ones where you just tie the fringes and such on the end, the tassels, you lose a lot less size this way versus the other. I think the tassels have to be cut to 4 inches or something like that. I've seen them, never actually made one of the other styles. And this style right here, you're only losing about 1.5 inches, about 3 inches total off the size of the overall size of the blanket. Versus the other, you're losing close to 8 inches off of it. So this actually makes a bigger blanket. A little time consuming. Like I said, I probably have about a total time of about 3.5 to 4 hours total time into this whole thing. So it's not really too ridiculous. But the end result is very nice. Like I said, the way I braided, you got a nice little red border that's complementing the red on the top side. So if you'd like to do this project, I've spelled out into the videos and such to show the details on how I did everything, how I stitched, how I braided, how I clipped it. Of course, I edited out all the time it took, so that would just be way too boring for everybody. So if you like what you've seen here, I'm going to put details on my website at homemadeidea.com. I'm going to do a little story on it along with other little projects I've done. There's going to be lots of different things. Of course, this little blanket project here, there's things like I make artwork out of old car parts. I love to build hot rods, motorcycles, and such like that. That is actually my main thing. I love working with metal more so than anything, but I happen to be pretty diverse and different things, so I'm not really stuck on one type of thing I can do. I learned a lot of different things just for my creativity side. But old hot rods, I've got a Mustang right now I'm building the motor for. I've got a 80 Yamaha SX650 that I'm cutting into a chopper. I make artwork out of old car parts like I mentioned a moment ago. And if you look real close, see my thumb right there? That is evidence of one of the projects I was making. And I will make a video of it, but hopefully without all the blood that involved on the last one. Yeah, a piece of metal went through my hand right there, but yeah, it's irrelevant. I survived it. So anyway, again, overall shot of the blanket. Go check out my website, homemadeidea.com. And there will be more stories of how to do little projects, cooking. I mean, I don't know. I like, there's a lot of different things I like to do. So anyway, here it is, and I hope you liked the video, and I hope you make plenty of blankets for your kids, for your girlfriends, or have you ladies can get some camouflage material, make some for your man. Thank you everybody for checking this out. You all have a great day. Thank you. Bye.